Hi everybody, my name is Lonnie Bowling and I'm continuing with my Getting Started with OSIsoft PySystem SDKs, and I hope that this has been beneficial so far for you and you are off and programming with the SDKs. I know that I'm enjoying making these, and I hope that this really is a help to people. So to continue where we were last time, we're going to, we have our elements, and now we're going to shift over to start working with the attributes of elements. So elements in themselves are maybe not all that handy, but of course with attributes, that's where things really start to happen. And attributes are going to store all this other data that we're very interested in using and accessing and displaying, providing reports, trends, whatever. There's hundreds and thousands of things that we can do with attributes. So what we want to do is we want to take a look at what an AF attribute is from a SDK perspective. And then we're going to go ahead and try to grab a collection of them from an element, look at their values and their various properties. And then finally, just for a little bit of fun, we're going to see if we can access some child attributes and see how those might be a benefit and of use. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into our program that we had going in the last part. And if you remember, I had found a bunch of elements, and we had listed out all these elements. So let's go ahead and run this. And oops, let me get to the Visual Studio. Let's run this. And so if you remember, we had we connected to our database, and then we've listed out our three base elements, and then off of those we have child elements from each different spot. So what I would like to do next is I would like to start looking at some of these attributes, and I went ahead and set up some for tank 1, and what I have is a level attribute, which we have it at 4.4 meters, and then I have a temperature 21.4 degrees Celsius, and then I also set up some coordinates, and this is something that people use AF a lot for, is to give an asset some kind of physical coordinate where it's located. And I went ahead and set up a latitude and longitude and gave them some values also. And this coordinate item I can set to true or false depending on if this item actually has coordinates. And so we'll do a little bit of logic and looking at that to see if we can determine if in fact it has coordinates, and then access those values. Okay, so let's go ahead and switch back to the code. So what we need to do is we need to get a hold of these attributes, and if we come back and we look at the SDK, we know that we're working with our elements right down here, and coming over we have these elements, and then from elements we're going to want to go in and look at attributes. So here's my elements, and you can see we have attributes, and then under attributes we have single attributes. So once again we're doing that plural, which is a collection, and then we're going to the single, which is an individual attribute. So looking at attributes, you can see that from here we have all kinds of items that we can do, but what I'm really interested in is this get value. So we're going to go ahead and retrieve a value from that attribute, and then of course we also have the general properties of an attribute, which we have things like things I wanted to let me go down to the properties here. We have things like name, that's a big one. Description, what element is part of that attribute, and then and so on. So let's go ahead and switch back to our code and take a look at how we're going to go ahead and access those attributes. So we need to get that tank element, and I know that based on my order that it's going to be the first element. So let's just go ahead and grab that first element, and that's going to be in a list of elements here, and I could do a first or default, and that's just going to return that first the first item on my list, which is my tank 1. Okay. From here, let's go ahead and take a look at the tank attributes. Okay. So we know a tank is a AF element, and AF elements has a collection of attributes associated with it. So let's just take a look at them. We'll do a for each, and this is going to be attribute, and this is going to be in a tank, and we should have something called attributes, and there we can see that we have this collection. Okay, so actually I think I just need to do that. Don't need that. Okay, and then let's do a console right line, and we'll go ahead and just list those out. And so this is attribute, and we want to go ahead and let's list out just the name of them. Okay, and then let's go ahead and let's let's do a console right line, and then let's do a tank, and let's give this a name so that we can look at tank 1. Let's say attributes 4, and we'll do that. Okay, so let's see what this looks like, and we should be able to see these tanks. This tank 1. So attributes for tank 1. You can see we have level, temperature, and coordinates. So that's perfect. We don't see those sub attributes yet. We're going to get to those in a little bit. But I just wanted to show you, it's pretty simple to access an attribute. Okay, now we have, going back to the documentation, we have this, a method called getValue right here, and this method returns a value for an attribute based upon the data reference configuration of the units, in the units. So what I want to do is I want to just go ahead and do a simple grabbing of that value. All right, and this is going to return an AF value. Now, if you recall, when we were doing pi points, we ended up using this AF value with a pi point, and so now we're seeing these two SDKs come together, which is kind of interesting, I think. There is a lot behind an AF value, but for now, we're just going to go ahead and just do a really basic conversion. We'll just convert it to string, and we'll take a look at what it is. So let's come back to our example, and what I want to do is we'll go ahead and we'll just and we'll do we'll do that, and we're going to put the name, and then we'll come over here and we'll do our attribute getValue, and then we're going to convert that to a string just to take a look at what it is. Okay, so let's see what we get. So here you can see the level is 4.4, the temperature is 21.4, and our coordinates are set to true. All right, so that is that's really kind of step 1 on working with attributes. Accessing an attribute, finding it, and then grabbing hold of it, getting that value, and then doing something with it. What I wanted to demonstrate next is, let's say that we're just interested in this coordinates attribute, right? We're not really interested in all of the attributes. We're just interested in that one, and if there are coordinates, let's go ahead and display those. So what we could do here is we could access an attribute through a different means other than just iterating through the collection, and this is generally true for most collections in the SDK. So we can do if. We're going to look at tank, and then we're going to look at the tank attributes once again. And what I want to do is I want to come in and I want to just directly access the coordinates attribute by name. Coordinates, and let me get this. If this coordinates, we could get the value here And if that value is equal to true, then I want to go ahead and display the sub attributes. Okay, so the first thing that I know is this get value type. Looking back at here, I can see the get value type is set to Boolean. Okay, so I need to set, to get this to evaluate right, I need to set it like that. And let me come back to my, let's make sure my connection, I want to be able to change this from true to false. So here we have set to true, and then so we're accessing this attribute directly based off its name, and we're getting the value. Now, if we have that, we could just literally we could just let's do this. Let's do a console and right line, and let's say it's coordinates. Coordinates are, and then we'll do a for each. And what I want to do is a sub attribute, and this is going to be we want to iterate through our the tank dot attributes. Yeah, we want to do tank attributes, and then we want to do this. Yeah, coordinates, and this has a collection of child attributes. So that right there, we're accessing that single attribute, and then we're going to access a collection of child attributes. That's how we get to that collection, is just doing going one step further. Okay, and if that works out, then all we need to do is we can do another console. And we're going to right line, and we'll go ahead and let's indent, and we'll do we'll just bring in the two values again, just like we were doing before. Oops. And I'm going to do a let's do a sub attribute dot name, and then we'll do a sub attribute dot get value. And we'll convert that to string, okay? And that should be good. So what we're doing here is we're going to look, and if the value is true, then we're going to head and we're going to go through the sub coordinate values, and we're going to just display the name and the value, okay? So let's see how well that works for us. And I made a mistake somewhere, so it's not letting us convert this to Boolean. And what I need to do is I need to do get value to be able to see, to actually retrieve that value and then convert that to Boolean. So let's go ahead and try that out. Okay, so that looks good, right? Our coordinates is set to true. Now we're displaying our coordinates as a latitude and longitude, and we have those two values. So that's perfect. Let's check that. And just set this to false, and see if we no longer grab the coordinates because of our logic statement here. Okay, so let's go ahead, and what we want to do is we see coordinates are false, and there you can see that we didn't display it. All right, so this is a really quick, basic way to access your attributes and child attributes. Now there is a lot of stuff that can be done with attributes in the class. Members, there's ways to find and search attributes directly, just like we're doing with elements. There's a lot of different things that can be done with get values, and we can also write values. And then there's ways where if an attribute is a pipe point, then we can access the data from the point we can do things like what we're doing when we're working directly with PyPoints. We can do things like get plot values and things like that, which is something that I want to explore in my next part. So that is just a real quick primer on how to work with attributes. Remember, you have to get your PySystem, then you need to get your AF database, then you need to get your element, and from there you can get your attributes, and then you can start working with them. And then also don't forget that you have the capability of having child attributes within attributes, so you can just keep building that layer over and over. All right, so I hope that you're enjoying this, and I know that I'm having a lot of fun doing it. So keep coding, keep working with the SDKs, and don't forget about vCampus. You can go on to vCampus and get questions answered that you might have, and there's a ton of information there. And so keep at it. Thanks again. My name is Lonnie Bowling. Bye-bye.